Welcome back, everybody. Happy Saturday. It is a beautiful Saturday morning here. Snowy, heat, April morning. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
What do you
Well, it's April.
It is April.
I remember it snowing into May once.
Well, you got to take it as you come, The daffodils are blooming, the snow's deep, and away you go. So we have a situation.
We have a situation.
We started talking about bolt action rifles in the used gun section. And when we start talking about bolt action guns, it's a subject. People spend a ton of money on bolt action rifles.
They do.
But we have a whole, Jacob, I'm going to let you lead in because I know you have a direction. And what I don't want to do is I don't want to,
you don't want to screw it up.
I have a chance to spill the beans and I don't want to.
All right, so we had a chance this past week. We ran around to a lot of different gun shops in the area.
Yes. All within 30 miles.
Exactly. And we wanted to see some of the newest, just see who has what. We encountered a couple different stores that have some of those newer budget line bolt action rifles.
Yes, and they were heavily stocked in them.
Heavily stocked in these budgets.
And it was interesting.
Interesting, but it really didn't make,
we looked at them and said, why?
Exactly.
We asked the question, why? Now, when you're looking at a bolt action rifle, and and if you've looked at classic bolt actions, and then you look at these new ones, and you might really like plastic guns. You might really like a lot of plastic. You might like not having a jeweled bolt. You might like having no reflective glare anywhere in the gun, or no iron sights.
Right.
So they're purpose-driven guns, and unfortunately, some of these newer rifles are in that budget category. They're bare bones.
And I think it all started back with the Remington 710.
Yeah.
That gray stocked rifle.
Right.
Right around 2000 it came out. And it was essentially just the budget rifle. They wanted to get a rifle out there, make it cheap.
I think they were trying to get, their purpose was to put a bolt action rifle on the market that was less than a Savage. But, boy, they trimmed it. You know what I mean? They trimmed it. We had a lot of people complaining about those rifles back then.
Now
there's people out there, I'm sure, that love them.
It started a really slow descent towards where we're at today, and I hope we haven't hit bottom yet.
Well, I hope we haven't. I hope we're looking up. But I don't want to see cheaper bolt action rifles.
And it happens.
It's not about the dollars and cents. It's about the quality.
Well, it happens just like you said. We have a compulsive society. People want to buy the gun. We want to buy the gun. We don't care what the gun is, but what's $298? I can afford that.
Yes.
I'll grab that one.
Exactly.
Not. I'm going to save up because that one's $745, and that's a good product. I'm going to save up and buy it.
Yeah.
What's the one you have on the shelf for the cheapest price? Yeah.
And that makes sense. Now, the point is, some of these guns we've been looking and looking and looking to find one of the new Winchesters, and I mean we found it, but we're going to talk about that later. But I was so let down. You know what I mean?
Well,
I was like, no. I was looking forward to it. As much as we just done talking about Winchester shotguns and how much we like those, to have that situation hit the way it did, I was like, oh, no. But let's talk about that. How about the Savage Axis? Now, that one is a strange one, too. So I'm seeing these names so that maybe you're thinking about these guns, and maybe you saw them, and you've been thinking about buying one of these.
So your Savage, for a long time though, before you had the Axis, you had their normal wood stock guns.
Yes.
The 110s, the 111s.
And they were tough guns.
They're tough guns. They worked good.
Kind of rough looking.
They were not your pretty gun. They were your working gun, and they worked, and they did.
Not really highly refined, but they were accurate.
And they came in all the different calibers.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd see them in 25-06. You'd see them in
6mm Remington. You never know what you're going to see.
Right, and left and right-handed.
We've had them in 30-06 and 7mm Magnum, and they're pretty tough guns. They're nice. So they were the gun that everybody was trying to beat, because Savage certainly had a big chunk of the market with that rifle.
Now, Weatherby's Vanguard, I put that on the list.
Yes.
Because it's a less costly alternative to a standard Weatherby rifle.
Yes.
Now,
and a good alternative, I think.
It's a $600 option when their normal rifles are $1,200.
Right.
So this is not your $298 rifle. This is your $600 rifle when the big brother's over 1,000.
But boy, the quality's tremendously different.
Quality's tremendously different from that to a Savage.
Right. Those are usually made by Howa, and they are
Made in Japan.
Yeah, made in Japan, and they are very precise rifles.
But then in these recent years, you have seen basically everyone come out with a budget line rifle. Remington's got the 783. Ruger has the American. Marlin had the X7. Savage had the Axis. Has the Axis.
Mm-hmm. Now you see, Marlin did they quit making that one?
Marlin's all gone with these big bolt actions.
I know CD&N clearanced them.
Yeah, they're still trying to close them out, but
there's not many left.
Not many left. In all honesty, there's no market for them because again, you're creating another rifle that it's $289.
Yes.
But nobody wants it.
You know, and that was an interesting concept on that gun too. It had a very, very narrow hold point on it. You know, if you're right-handed, you're holding that rifle with your right hand. I liked it because I don't have huge hands, and when you're hunting and you're wearing a glove, it was a smart design on that gun, and it was a design that was mass-produced because it was Marlin did it, and another line did it too, and they were all over the internet with those guns.
It's those TCs. TC had that bolt action. I don't remember the name of it. They switched around some things now.
It had the same style stock.
Yep.
So it was like the same gun.
Winchester, like you had mentioned, that XBR. Now, I do not count that Browning AB3 because that is still such a high price. I'm not putting it in this yet.
Okay. They've still kept some quality attributes to Browning.
And in all honesty,
Browning will do this. I don't think they'll go this
well, the Browning and that XBR from Winchester are two in the same. But the Winchester just is a cheaper version.
We did see kind of a shining light from one other one, though, didn't we?
We did.
What was that one?
Well, that was that Mossberg Patriot.
That's quite a rifle.
This is the exception to the rule here.
Price-wise,
it's spot on. It was $449, $449, but you still had a walnut stock.
Yep. It had a very, very nice
fluted barrel.
Yep, fluted barrel. It had a very nice finish on it.
And made in America.
Mm-hmm.
Really just kind of was, wait a second, what is that and how is that here? Type of moment.
It was in the way they did the stipling on the stock was laser etched instead of being checkered.
Yes,
it was laser etched in a stipling pattern that was very nice, a burn stipling, and it had good grip, good looking gun, and a really, really nice. I'd throw it on my shoulder while hunting, that's for sure. Good looking rifle.
So, really, the first thing that stood out in our mind about all the rest of these guns is that there is definitely a difference among these from your other rifle. I mean, clearly a difference. First off, the plastic.
Yes, a lot of plastic.
It used to be, well, for instance, that Model 70 we had in the guns from Williams, it was a synthetic sporter. It was the same rifle, but they put a composite stock on it.
Right.
Now you're going to these rifles where why would we put a wood stock on those? You would think a beech stock or some sort of miscellaneous hardwood stock would be less than a plastic, but it's not. They're injection molded, or they're just composite stocks that are slapped on these guns.
Right.
For instance, that Winchester, you could squeeze the stock and it bent.
Yeah.
If you squeezed around the buttstock, it would flex in and out.
Bare minimum. It's almost like a low bid.
I remember I was warned a long time ago, and I don't remember who it was, but they said never buy. Well, they told me never buy the Remington 710.
Yeah.
Because if that trigger guard breaks, you've got to buy a whole new stock, and the stock is worth as much as the rifle.
And that's something.
Then
I think I know who told you that. He has a long silver goatee. I'm almost certain that's who told you that.
So, looking at it now, all of these rifles we just talked about, the Savage, Axis, the American, the 783, the Marlin X7s, that XBR, they've all got plastic trigger guards.
Yep.
All of them.
Yep. And some of them were sturdier than others. Some were really odd looking. The Remington's a goofy looking one. I don't understand that one at all. But I'm not knocking Remington. They're putting a product out there, a good American company, and people are buying it. But I think we're seeing a tightening up at Remington right now too.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to see some changes.
Now the grips on all these rifles are different because of the different stocks. However, they're not accurate.
Oh no,
These guns
pack drivers.
are perfectly accurate. We know the American rifle's accurate.
Yeah. But we've seen a change in American rifles from when they came out to what we're getting now.
Yes.
The bolts
are
changed.
much sloppier now.
The still a nice gun, good looking rifles, and now they're, how the 1022 had a any way, shape, or form you wanted to get a 1022 you could, and you still can. It's kind of how the Axis rifles or the American rifles are. They're offering it in several different styles, and pretty interesting.
There's two things I don't like about these rifles, and they're on two of the rifles. The Marlin X7 had it, and the Savage Axis has it. I don't like that locking nut on the front, at the rear of the barrel, at the front of the receiver.
Well, even the high-end Savages have that. The Savage rifles have that.
I do not like the fact that you can see the locking nut on these rifles. I'm buying a rifle, not a piece of a car. There shouldn't be a bolt showing that holds it all together.
It kind of looks like a suspension on a 72 Chevy. So it is a little rough around the edges. But they're, that's just the way they do it. That's just the way they do it. And Savage, barrels are...
Well, they're accurate rifles. I'm not knocking that. I'm knocking the appearance of the rifle.
Right.
How about we make a rifle that you're proud to hold? Not, I'm going to cover that one up with a camouflage cloth when I'm hunting.
Pride is pride. Sometimes it can get in the way. But there's just a ton of choices out there in these new budget priced bolt actions.
Yes.
There's a lot of them out there, and every now and then they'll come out and then they disappear because there's been recalls and stuff too. So
now I'm not saying don't buy a new rifle because that's what drives the firearms industry.
Right. But just be careful. Yeah,
be careful and think about what you're buying.
So when we come back,
we're going to talk about an alternative to these new guns and how it might benefit you better in the long run.
No. All right. Well, hang on tight. Fill up that coffee. We'll be back in just a couple minutes with more of the Gunsmith Show. All right. Welcome back. I'm John.
And I'm Jake.
And we are the Gunsmiths, and we're here talking about guns. You can always reach us in the studio at 810-743-8255. We are live. It's Saturday morning, the 9th of April. And it is what time, Jake?
8:32.
8:32. All right. Well, from the bottom of the hour looking up, what are we talking about next?
All right. We're talking about that alternative to those new guns.
Alternative to a new gun.
If you don't want to see a plastic rifle, if you want a rifle that was made quality, not by a machine, well, to a point.
Maybe this one's been touched my hands a little more.
Or if it's a proven rifle.
What are you getting at?
Well, I don't know. It's maybe look at a used gun. Look at a used bolt action rifle. We're going to kind of go through some of these price range wise. Very comparable, a higher quality rifle used, very comparable to a lower quality rifle new.
Kind of goes back to your WilliamsGunSite.com list that
exactly.
we went over earlier.
It's kind of like when you find out 4 or 5 year old Aston Martins are less than $50,000.
Well, I've never had to look for those, so it doesn't relate to me at all. You might want to talk about a 1-ton Chevy truck or a Ford van. Yeah. Maybe that might be different.
Good luck finding a diesel for cheap.
No, not gonna. but if you were to say you set yourself a budget and you're looking in that $400 to $550 range.
Yes.
I would almost say the sky's the limit. I've seen Weatherby Mark V's for $600.
Right.
Beautiful rifle.
Oh, absolutely. You're talking about there's not a finer rifle
in that price range.
Range.
We're not talking Montana rifles or Kimbers, but we are talking about very, very, very good rifles.
Well, and
in that same price range.
Well, there's at some point though where, what are you going to be spending on a gun that you're going to be hauling around in the woods with you?
Right.
I'm all for the quality and craftsmanship of a Kimber or a Montana rifle or even a Gibbs rifle.
Right.
But in reality, I'm not going to take a rifle that costs more than my first car out into the woods or on a horseback.
Well,
I just can't.
We bought cars at much different prices, so all of these cost more than my first car. But I got to tell you, there is a huge amount of used rifles out there. Nice rifles between $400 and $550, and it doesn't. Honestly, I have just as much. I mean, I love seeing new guns come out of the market.
Well,
And
there was that
enjoy
point
it.
where I was not buying a rifle if it was more than $300.
Yeah, you want to see.
I have plenty of rifles, great rifles that cost me maybe $350 or less.
Right. And a lot of fun, good shooters.
I've got Ruger 44 carbine that I paid $295 for just 4 years ago.
Right. And,
So there's
and most of those are way up there. You might need a little bit of work, but if you're willing to do a little elbow grease on them and get them cleaned up, but what goes wrong with a bolt action rifle?
it's kind of like a revolver.
Yeah, they seem
It's
to
hard
always work.
to break them.
You might have to change a firing pin or something if somebody dry fired it or broke it, or make sure the barrel's straight.
So
Believe it or not, you do have to make sure the barrel's straight.
You
Take
do.
a look down it.
Without much to spend,
Without test driving it, that's the way you got to do it.
without having too much money to spend on these, we're going to go through a list of good bolt-action hunting rifles. And now might be the time to look for them because people are getting rid of them from last deer season.
Yeah.
And
Or they want to
garage
upgrade.
sale season's coming up.
Yeah.
You never know. So you
Yeah.
might find these garage sales gives you all summer to pick the right scope.
Well, there's a whole slew of people probably listening to the show that hit garage sales exactly when they open, and the first thing they ask for is guns. There's a lot of people doing that at gun we'll call it the garage sale loophole.
Yeah.
How's that? There you go, Mr.
All right.
Obama. But enough with the loopholes. Let's talk about some of these rifles.
The first one, probably one of the most popular rifles in America, the Remington 700.
Sure.
I mean, the Remington 700 has been around for so long. Everyone's seen one, basically.
It's America's oldest gun maker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not.
They didn't make 700s in 1802.
No.
But what I'm saying,
There were 700 people there in 1802.
But these are some very, very nice guns. Remington 700s, they hold their value very well. But they're available in several different ways. You can get them stainless steel, blued. You can get them with the matte black finish.
And there's different models. Your ADLs, your BDLs.
Right. Tactical versions.
Yeah, heavy barrels.
Everything. Synthetic stocks, wood stocks, custom stocks. I mean, you never know. You might find one with a broken stock, and then you immediately order a new stock for it.
You
can
get
order
a new
them right from
Boyd's or
Remington, or you get them from Boyd's. Boyd's stocks are they're under $200.
Usually under 100.
100, but if you want to get one that's perfect, or exactly the way you want it with a high cheek piece or something, or you might have you can. People forget about custom fitting rifles to their body.
Now, and I just
like
had
you have to with shotguns when you're going skeet shooting and trap shooting.
Yes.
You need the gun to fit your body.
Call them.
So, very, very interesting how these guns fit different. That's why I've always liked the next one you want to talk about, which is the Weatherby. The Weatherbys fit me very well. That high cheek piece on a Weatherby Mark V or a Vanguard. They have that real high Monte Carlo stock, that cheek piece holds your head just right.
Well, and you can find Vanguards with scopes for less than $400.
Sure. And even then, you might find them for, $500. But if it's exactly the way you want it, and one thing to look for when you're buying these rifles is always look to see if they do have that bonus scope on them. They might have a Bushnell Elite on it, and you don't realize it, but you got a $350 or $400 scope sitting on that gun.
Exactly.
And I always look, when I'm looking at used rifles, I always look to see if there's a scope on it, or at least if it has good bases on it. If it's got a set of Leopold bases on it, there's another $60 you don't have to spend.
Yep.
So I would say, there's lots of things to look at. So
now,
in all the different calibers.
Vanguards are in so many different calibers.
Sometimes you might even change your mind because you found a bargain on the caliber that, I didn't think I was going to get a 270, but I'll take it because you can make just about any one of these rifles. Do anything you want.
I think that Jack O'Connor's proof the 270 works for anything in this continent.
It's very true. And it will.
And it's all due to shot placement. We have a friend that's hunted his entire life with a 257 Roberts.
Yes.
It's shot placement.
Caribou, just about everything with it.
Probably, I don't know if he's done bears.
I don't know if he's bear hunter with that or not.
But it's one of those. You did what with that gun?
And the same people do the same thing with 243s.
Yep.
It's not a diminutive round at all. It's a very powerful round.
Yep.
And again, shot placement. It's
So-
all about being a marksman with that rifle.
And with these Vanguards, that can all work. Now, let's say you're looking at the Winchester lineup. They are usually
am.
I know they are usually not as low of a price as a Winchester is or
Right.
Vanguard. I'm sorry, as a Remington or a Vanguard. They're usually a kind of a step above.
I think people look to the Model 70 Winchesters especially as collector's items.
Yes.
And I mean, true, some of them are just workhorses. They're just work guns. But the XTRs and the nicer custom shop ones, they do pop up.
I mean, in all honesty, have you ever seen a Model 70 featherweight?
I've owned them.
I mean, what I'm saying though is, I'm asking the people on the radio,
yeah,
not
okay,
you.
I'm
I know
sorry.
you've.
You looked right at me when you said that.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you're across from me.
Yes.
Look to the ceiling. Hello, ceiling.
Okay. Hello, walls.
No, have you ever, if you've ever seen or even held a Model 70 featherweight, you have to admit one thing. For the price, there is no finer rifle, there's no finer American style rifle out there.
Good opinion. That's your opinion.
My opinion.
And they are very, very nice rifles. Personally, I like light rifles, but I like to have a little more heft because I'm usually going with a large caliber.
Well,
And those light rifles beat the heck out of you when you pull the trigger. If you're a blind hunter, if you just get out of your truck and you go to your blind and you hunt, a heavier rifle is going to treat you a little better. Not blind as in can't see.
I know.
When you hunt from a ground blind or a tree blind, there again, a tree blind might be better. You know, with a lighter rifle. But my point is, you can have a gun even customized if you want. If you don't put a ton of money into it, you can have it customized exactly the way you want it. Like for instance, in your hunt for a 35 Whalen,
yes.
you looked and looked and looked and couldn't really find anything you really, really liked. And then you decided, you know what, I'm going to make one.
Now build it.
So you bought
Build it better and faster.
You bought a 03 Springfield.
It was already had been sporterized.
Yeah, it had
so
been sporterized.
I was not the one that ruined the rifle.
No, you did not. You did not diminish its value. You totally customized it. Boyd stock. What brand of barrel did you put on it? Chalene?
Yes.
A
yes.
Chalene barrel.
Shilling.
Whatever. Kit Chalene.
No.
And and you did it right. And
instead of selling for a rifle I found on a shelf or from a brand I didn't want, I decided I'd just build my own on the classic, on the original 35 Whalen Action, which was the 03 Springfield.
Right. And so sometimes you can do that with these rifles too. And when we're talking about these bolt action rifles, I have bought bolt action rifles that look like they've been stuck behind the shed for 6 months. Refinished them, redone the stock the way I wanted, reconfigured the stock slightly, refinished, of course, and you can have a beautiful gun for under $400.
Yes.
So it's all in what you really want to put your mind to with these guns. Now, Remington Model 70s is one of the easiest ways to say if you can find one.
Winchester Model 70s?
Winchester Model 70. If you can find one for between $400 and $500, take a deep look at it because those are very, very well quality made guns. You're going to find quality parts throughout. Just like with the Remington 700s, you're usually going to find a real walnut stock, checkered. You might get into the synthetics. You would rather have a synthetic stock. But the point is, you're going to have the good bolt. You're going to have the good, I say good safety on a Winchester. I don't talk much about the Remington safety situation. It is a recall, and they're dealing with it, and that's okay. But there are people that swear at them. There are people that swear by them. So I'm not saying either way.
But there's one rifle before we go to break that I think fits the categories of both of these, both new and inexpensive, yet the quality of an old.
And I think it's very worthy of you discussing it on the radio.
It would be the new Mossberg Patriot line. These are new, still made here in America. The one we're talking about. This is the Patriot laminated Marine Coat model.
All right.
Really, the gun that you don't have to worry about with the weather or anything.
Tough gun.
308 Winchester, 5-shot capacity, fluted 22-inch barrel. Comes with Weaver bases. the coating, it looks like like a matte stainless steel, but it is called marine coat. It's the same thing Mossberg puts on their shotguns.
Okay.
That matte stainless finish.
Sure.
Laminated salt and pepper stock.
You know, we don't really talk about Mossberg that much.
We don't.
But Mossberg, we've had great luck with Mossbergs, and I like the guns. They're American made. They're tough, and they're nice.
And MSRP. This is a brand new rifle.
No, this one's got that laminated salt and pepper stock too,
Right.
so it's sharp. Good looking gun.
Laminated. The bolt itself is interesting. How it's got the twist on it.
Yeah, good looking rifle.
It's a good looking rifle.
It's very catchy.
MSRP on this for the 308 is $562.
Wow.
So it
Right.
has all the characteristics of the older. Yes, we're proud this is made here. This is wood. This is real metal. But yet it's selling at a price point a little higher than your standard plastic guns.
So basically, and we don't have one in our hands. We're not
No.
being paid by Mossberg. We don't even have one yet to shoot. But we're telling you right now that of all the guns we've talked about, that's about the nicest price point for a brand new one. you
Yes,
can find.
the nicest price point for what you're getting.
I mean, there's lots of guns out there, folks. I mean, there's lots of guns to choose from.
There's
Lord
a lot.
knows there is.
We didn't even get into Tikas or Seikos,
Right. And
any of these.
And we didn't even really get into the Savage, like the Hog Hunter line and stuff. But those lines change. You know, they offer these things for short times, and you got to try to snatch one when you can. The only way to get them now is get them on auctions or watch the used gun list.
Right.
But it does raise that question: how much am I going to spend, and what am I going to get for my money?
Yes.
And you know, and a lot of times, you know, you and I, being a father and son, we're pretty like-minded. We have had low, we've had high, and we realize that somewhere in the middle works out pretty good. And if you can find that high-quality bolt action at a very fair price being used, and you want to put a little TLC into it, make it what it should be, go for it.
Yep.
Go for it.
Exactly.
So it's exciting, and it's a fun challenge to go out and try to find. It's a good time to look right now, because as everybody's getting ready for skeet and trap and getting ready for summer, and you're getting the boat ready, it's a great time to go out and buy a used rifle, because they're at great prices right now.
Right.
So if you're looking to go out and do something different, that might be your choice for the day. All right, folks, hang on tight. We'll be right back with more of the Gunsmith Show. Remember, you can reach us right here in the studio, 810-743-8255. We'll be back, and we're going to talk a little bit about some tactical 22s. So hang on tight. All right, folks, I hope you're enjoying this Saturday morning. This is the Gunsmiths. I'm John.
And I'm Jake.
And we're remember, you can always reach us here at 810-743-8255 if you have a question or want to bring up something. But right now we want to talk about
A tactical solution from
a tactical solution
a company called Tactical Solutions.
Jeez, who'd have knew?
Wow.
Yeah.
Their marketing department is nuts.
They're a bunch of tactical fellas, I tell you. Well, but these are some pretty cool guns, and I'm sure if you've been in the gun shops or if you got any gun magazines, you've probably seen these things because they are pretty cool.
These are, well, this company does a lot. They do full custom Ruger 1022s.
And this is mostly out of high strength aluminum
Yes.
and in light metals anyway, but durable.
Now, they're out of Boise, Idaho, and they have a couple different options on how to make your 22 handguns more tactical.
How does the state that makes potatoes come up with all these cool things for?
Well, they got bored eating potatoes,
They must have.
so they said, well, let's make something out of metal.
If I eat more potatoes, is that going to make me more tactical?
Just think, all those potatoes, yeah, tactical but dangerous.
tacky.
Anyways, all those potatoes, I'm sure they shoot them a lot.
It might be good practice. You never know. Well, they might have a lot of practice shooting groundhogs and stuff out there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Little ground style varmints.
Not really what I've ever thought about. So,
Nope. So anyways.
in all honesty.
They
Anyways,
started out making Ruger upgrades.
Ruger upgrades for the Ruger 22
And
handguns.
it really has become where we see them the most. But
It's an inexpensive. I shouldn't say inexpensive.
no.
It's a different
option.
It's a different option of how to make your rifle have a threaded barrel.
Rifle or pistol?
Rifle or pistol.
Both, right?
Both. They do threaded barrels for a Ruger 1022, threaded heavy barrels,
Okay.
but their mainstay is really their threaded handgun barrels for
Yes.
Ruger 22
And
handguns.
with the suppressor laws loosening up across the country and sound suppression of guns becoming so popular, their pack light upper has become a real. It's in almost every gun shop you go to.
Yes.
You see a pack light. Now these are Ruger 2245s or Ruger Mark IIIs, but they just do the upper part.
This is just the upper part.
Yep.
So the first one is called the pack light upper conversion. It's a 4.5-inch threaded barrel upper.
Upper, basically for a 22 pistol.
They are matte finish. That's either fluted or a straight barrel. So you have two options there: fluted or regular heavy barrel. Well, I shouldn't say heavy. It's an aluminum barrel.
Right. None of them are heavy.
Now they come in different colors as well: matte black, matte green, and
red,
they'll
blue.
Well, and they'll do the glossies, the red, the blues.
Right.
So there are different options there.
They got a green one out now. It's kind of cool looking.
They are,
olive drab.
yes. They are drilled and tapped for a scope base.
Mm-hmm.
However, they do require an FFL transfer.
Yes, they do.
Because of where the serial number is on a Ruger.
Right. It's going to change the whole dynamics of your gun.
Yes.
And
your gun is therefore no longer a Ruger, but it is a pack light.
Interesting.
Right.
Interesting. So, and this is an option.
Right. Now,
this is one of those options you can do. Is kind of like changing your AR-15 and getting a different upper and changing the 300 blackout or something. But you're changing your old standby Ruger pistol and making it something new and upgrade.
Now, they are right around 6 ounces.
That's it?
That's it.
Boy, they are light. Now, I've heard both arguments on this. They're wonderful for camping and if you're a walker, a trail walker in northern Michigan, and you want to have something light that, high capacity, you got a 10-round 22 in your hand, nice and easy to holster, and keep them on you all the time. But in that nice, easy, light to carry gun, it is also so light, it's hard to be very, very accurate with it too. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Your good, accurate handguns are usually a little bit heavier.
Now they start around $315 for the solid one with no flutes.
Okay.
And the fluted variant is $325.
All right.
Now
the price isn't bad, but you're going to have some fees on top of that too. Yeah.
There's going to be some shipping and FFL fees.
Right.
Now there's also a 6-inch barreled version also.
Really? That makes sense.
Yeah. And as well fluted and not fluted.
How about threaded? Do they make 6-inch threaded?
There is.
Huh. That'd be a squirrel hunting option right there.
Yes, it would, with a red dot on there.
Or even just good sights, raised sights with a silencer on it. That'd be an interesting gun.
The 6-inch version also starts about $315.
Okay.
Now, let's say you're not a Ruger owner. Let's say you have a Browning Buckmark handgun.
Ooh, a lot of them out there.
There are. They do the same things.
Yes, they do.
Now,
Some say better.
They make a model in a 5.5-inch barrel and a 4-inch barrel, both threaded, called the Trail Light, easily installed with no gunsmith needed. No FFL is needed, though, for these.
I'm not needed? I'm not needed because I'm a gunsmith?
Well, it's easy. This is like a very simple one bolt undone, put the new barrel on.
Make it clear, we're not gunsmiths by trade.
We're not.
We just have a lot of fun with guns. And our last name's Smith.
Now, price on these, they're matte and OD green with flutes.
Okay.
Or without flutes.
So you got some options.
You have some options. Now, like I said, no serial number on the barrel with the Buckmark. It's on the frame of the gun.
Right.
That frees that up for you somewhat there. Price on the Trail Light, you're going to start around $240 for the matte black or the green. It goes up from there slightly if you pick a different color, but they'll do custom colors for you as well.
That's all right. That's a fair price.
That's price.
An interesting upgrade for a Browning Buckmark.
For a gun that probably never thought it would be tactical.
Yeah.
More of a utility handgun.
Well, their trail model, their camping model is a nice, got a good feel to it. They're great feeling guns. We like ours. We have a lot of fun. We have more Rugers than we have the Brownings, but they're still nice.
An option from the Tactical Solutions Company, they also do 22 conversion barrels and upper receivers for Glocks.
Yeah.
So you can buy a 22 conversion from them. It's a whole new upper slide, barrel, all the internal components to make your Glock shoot 22 long rifle. And they do the same, of course, for 1911s. So if you're interested in any of these, we actually have a local dealer in Flint for them called Crossfire Arms.
Yes.
So if you go to the Tactical Solutions website, it's tacticalsol.com. You can order these, and they're shipped to him in Flint, and then he gives you a call when they come in.
And he's one of their dealers.
He is one of their dealers.
I've never asked anybody else, if they're dealers.
They have a whole dealer selection on their website.
Oh, okay.
Local FFLs. You type in your 484, 50, all
Whatever
these numbers.
Yeah.
And it tells you who the nearest dealer is for them.
Well, that's cool. And he was the nearest one to us, huh?
He is.
Okay, good. And it's a good friend, Eric, over there. Eric Van Norwick at Crossfire. So great guy. All right, well, that's good. And so what I've noticed there, when you mentioned they were doing this for Glocks, I used to know that not the only option you had on a Glock was getting that carbine.
Right.
That carbine.
Remember the carbine? It was the buttstock attached. It made the barrel longer.
Yeah.
Turn your Glock into a rifle.
Turn your 45, into a rifle, 45 rifle. Interesting because now Rock Island Armory, I believe, is the one making the 22 TCM upper for the Glocks, and lots of interesting things. So,
which is that's a nice round.
I think it's a 40 cal bullet neck down to a 22 caliber or a 9mm neck down. I don't remember which. 2,000 foot per second, 22 caliber bullet. So a little quicker than a CCI Stinger. So very, very interesting. So I don't think you'd be putting a silencer on that one, because the crack out of that one would be pretty tremendous. It'd probably sound a little bit like a 30 carbine going off. But very, very interesting stuff coming on in the gun world. So, in your neck of the woods, all we want you to do is be careful, make good decisions, and make sure that when you do pick out your new guns, well, you do it with some knowledge that hopefully will help you a little bit, and always be safe and responsible gun owners. That's the important part.
Oh, yeah.
Do it and keep them locked up when you're not around, because you don't want the bad people coming in and taking them.
No.
That's what we don't want to see happen. All right, folks. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the show today. We've had a good time bringing it to you. The phone's been lighting up, but it's been people asking questions off the air. We'll get to those. And Jacob, what are you going to do this week? You got any shooting planned for this week?
We got some shooting planned this week. We're going to get some more of our shows on YouTube. We hope to have some shooting videos on YouTube pretty soon, too. Hey, we did get the new polycase ammo samples came in, so we'll talk about those in 2 weeks.
All new plastic bullets. So we're going to be shooting those and trying those out.
So we're going to have them on in 2 weeks, on the 23rd. Also, find us online at Facebook, The Gunsmith Show. On Twitter, follow us, Gunsmith Show. And if you have any questions during the week, email us at shooter@thegss.com.
I hope Valerie got her shirt and her coffee mug this week. We did send it to you, Valerie, and I hope you got it. You should have. So for now, I'm John.
And I'm Jake.
Have a great weekend, everybody. God bless America.